The morning my entire life collapse began with applause, smiling faces, and the proudest moment I had ever experienced as a mother. Less than an hour later, one sentence spoken in front of hundreds of strangers would expose a buried secret that had been hidden for more than 20 years and force everyone around us to question what they believed about family, loyalty, and love. My name is Victoria Harper, and for most of my adult life, I believed I had built a peaceful home with my husband, Andrew, and our son, Ethan. I never imagined that the child I had loved with every piece of my heart would one day become the center of a truth so shocking that it would destroy a marriage, uncover decades of deception, and completely change all of our lives forever. 23 years earlier, I met Andrew during a volunteer fundraiser after moving to the quiet lakeside town of Maple Ridge to begin a fresh chapter of my life. He appeared kind, respectful, and devoted to raising his cheerful 3-year-old son, alone after explaining that the boy's mother had disappeared shortly after childbirth because she was unable to handle the responsibilities of parenthood. I felt deep compassion for both of them and slowly became part of their little family until marriage seemed like the most natural step we could take together. Ethan accepted me almost immediately, reaching for my hand whenever he felt scared, asking me to read bedtime stories every night, and eventually calling me mom with such innocent confidence that I never questioned whether I truly belonged in his life. The years passed with countless unforgettable memories that made our family appear perfect to everyone who knew us. From school concerts and camping trips to graduation ceremonies and birthday celebrations filled with laughter, I devoted myself completely to raising Ethan into a thoughtful, hardworking young man while believing my greatest blessing was the loving family I had spent more than 2 decades protecting, never realizing that someone had carefully built our happiness upon a foundation of dangerous lies waiting for the perfect moment to collapse. For years, Andrew claimed that his expanding construction business demanded frequent travel, and I never questioned the long weekends he spent away from home because trust had always been the foundation of our marriage. Whenever he returned, he carried expensive gifts, affectionate smiles, and believable explanations that made every small doubt disappear before I could examine it more closely. As Ethan grew older, he became the kind of young man every parent dreams of raising, earning excellent grades, volunteering in community projects, and treating everyone with kindness and respect. Watching him receive scholarships and eventually gain admission to one of the most prestigious graduate schools in the country convinced me that every sacrifice, every sleepless night, and every difficult decision had been worthwhile. Still, strange moments quietly slipped into our otherwise ordinary lives like tiny cracks spreading across a beautiful piece of glass. Andrew became unusually protective of his phone, occasionally stepped outside to answer late-night calls, and sometimes returned from his business trips carrying unfamiliar hotel key cards or receipts that never matched the places he claimed to have visited. Whenever I gently asked about those inconsistencies, Andrew laughed with complete confidence and insisted that I was allowing unnecessary anxiety to invent problems that did not exist. I wanted to believe him because accepting his explanations was far easier than imagining the man I loved could spend years hiding something so enormous that it would eventually destroy everything we had built together. Only a few weeks before Ethan's graduate school commencement ceremony, I began organizing old financial records while preparing documents for a family investment meeting that Andrew had repeatedly postponed. Hidden inside a forgotten storage box, I discovered a sealed envelope containing faded photographs, legal papers, and a handwritten letter from an unfamiliar woman whose heartbreaking words would become the first piece of a mystery that was about to change my life forever. I unfolded the fragile letter with trembling hands, expecting it to contain nothing more than forgotten memories from Andrew's past. But every sentence pulled me deeper into a truth I was completely unprepared to face. The woman introduced herself as Carolyn, writing that she had sacrificed everything for the little boy she loved while begging Andrew not to erase her from their son's life, simply because she lacked the money and influence to fight him in court. The dates, photographs, and legal documents fit together with terrifying precision, leaving almost no room for doubt about what had happened more than 2 decades early. Andrew had never been abandoned by a careless woman as he had claimed, because he had deliberately hidden the existence of Ethan's biological mother and created a heartbreaking story that made himself appear to be the innocent victim. Instead of confronting him immediately, I spent several days quietly searching through old bank records, archived emails, and forgotten files stored inside our home office until every missing piece finally came together. I discovered years of confidential payments sent to Carolyn through different accounts, private agreements protected by strict confidentiality clauses, and travel records, proving that many of Andrew's so-called business trips had actually been secret visits connected to the life he had hidden from me. Every new discovery felt like another piece of my heart breaking away because I realized my greatest pain had nothing to do with blood or biology. The unbearable betrayal came from understanding that my love, my trust, and more than 20 years of devotion had been used as convenient cover for a carefully planned deception that Andrew had never intended to reveal. I wanted to confront him that very night, demand every answer, and walk away forever. But then I looked at the graduation invitation hanging proudly on our refrigerator and thought about Ethan. After everything he had worked so hard to achieve, I refused to let his happiest day become another victim of Andrew's selfish choices. So I locked every document in CETA secure folder and silently promised myself that the truth would come out only when the time was right. The morning of Ethan's graduation arrived with bright sunshine, cheerful families, and an atmosphere filled with excitement as proud parents gathered outside the university auditorium carrying flowers, cameras, and balloons. I stood among them holding a bouquet of white lily, smiling through my private heartbreak because I was determined that nothing would steal the joy Ethan had. And through years of dedication and relentless hard work, when Ethan crossed the stage to receive his master's degree, the audience erupted into thunderous applause, and tears filled my eyes as I watched the little boy I had raised become an accomplished young man ready to begin an extraordinary future. Every sleepless night, every encouraging conversation, and every sacrifice suddenly felt worthwhile because seeing his confident smile was the greatest reward I could have imagined. After the ceremony, our relatives, close friends, professors, and classmates gathered outside for photographs and congratulations while Ethan happily thanked everyone who had supported him throughout his academic journey. Just as I stepped forward to hand him the bouquet, Andrew unexpectedly raised his voice and announced that everyone should applaud me for spending more than 20 years raising the child of another woman without ever knowing the truth. The celebration instantly dissolved into complete silence as shocked faces turned toward me, unsure whether they had misunderstood what they had just heard or witnessed the beginning of something unimaginable. Before Andrew could continue speaking, Ethan calmly stepped between us, looked directly into his father's eyes, and said that the greatest parent in his life was the woman standing beside him because she had earned that place through unconditional love rather than through lies and manipulation. Andrew stared at him in disbelief while Ethan revealed that several months earlier, he had secretly connected with Carolyn, learned the hidden story of his birth, and carefully verified every detail before deciding to remain silent until after graduation. Then he looked at me with tears in his eyes, gently took the bouquet from my hands, embraced me tightly in front of everyone, and declared that no secret, no document, and no biological connection could ever change the fact that I would always be his true mother. Andrew tried to interrupt, insisting there had been reasons for every decision he had made. But his excuses carried no weight after decades of deception had finally been exposed. Ethan calmly produced copies of messages, legal documents, and financial records that confirmed the truth beyond any doubt, leaving our relatives and friends speechless as they realized the story they had believed for years had been built on carefully hidden lies. In the weeks that followed, I chose peace over anger and ended my marriage, knowing that trust once destroyed could never truly be restored. Andrew attempted to repair the damage, but every apology arrived far too late. Because the consequences of dishonesty had already taken away the family he believed would never leave him. Ethan slowly built a respectful relationship with Carolyn, giving both of them the opportunity to recover the years that had been stolen by someone else's choices. At the same time, our bond only grew stronger because we both understood that real family is not created by shared DNA but by unwavering love, daily sacrifice, and the decision to stand beside each other through every challenge life brings. Looking back, I no longer see myself as a victim of an extraordinary betrayal because the greatest gift I received was the son who chose me with his heart rather than through obligation. The painful truth destroyed a dishonest marriage, but it also revealed something far more valuable, proving that genuine love can survive even the darkest secrets while deception always collapses under the weight of its own lies. If this journey teaches anything, it is that honesty may be difficult, but it always builds stronger relationships than even the most carefully protected deception ever can. Please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family. We create entertaining and inspiring stories for our viewers, and your support helps us continue making great content for you.